Hey everybody, Rob from Karma Comment Chameleon coming at you with a couple of entitled parent stories. First one, call Hobby Lobby and see if they have baby urns. I don't care if you aren't one of their companies. AKA, another Catholic lady makes my life hell. Let's jump right in. Hey, did you guys know that 92% of people who watch my videos aren't even subscribed to the channel? Guys, I ask you to subscribe and we're gonna do something interesting at 50,000 subs. Now back to our story. So I work at the only Christian store in my town, and we occasionally get bad customers. They aren't always from the cathedral, but Catholic ladies tend to be the ones to cause me the most problems. Mostly, they complain about us either A, not being a Catholic-only store, or B, not having a better collection of modern-looking Catholic children's Bibles. Not my problem, take it up with the publishers. I have had customers looking for items in our grief section before, but none of them have ever treated me like the entitled mother from today's story. Today was a whole new level of entitlement and crazy. Warning, loss of pregnancy is involved in this story, so listener discretion is advised. At around 6:30, we close at 7, a pair of ladies come in and ask me if we carry any urns, specifically child urns. One looks to be a gal roughly my age, early 20s, and one looks to be an older lady, maybe in her late 40s minimum. The younger lady seems to just be really out of it, we'll call her NL, while the older one is about as prickly as a cactus in July in how she speaks and how she carries herself, and she's the entitled mother of our little story. Hi ladies, what can I help with today? Small urns, where are they? Oh, we actually don't carry urns. We sell small memorial bracelets and picture frames. The only things similar to urns are pet related. Whatever, where are they? Our grief section is in the back corner, next to our bargain books. If you'd like, I can show you where it is. That won't be necessary. She then stormed off in a huff towards our grief section, leaving her poor daughter at the counter. She looked really out of it, and gave me a familiar look that said, "Sorry, she's been like this all day." I asked if she would like to take a seat, or if there's anything she would like to look at. Actually, I was wondering what you have as far as devotionals go. I've never really read one before. Well, personally, I like anything by Sarah Young, but we have a lot on hand. If you don't see one there, or if you need us to special order one, I can definitely get that in our computer for you. Suddenly, entitled mother appears out of nowhere, like the woman just materialized out of thin air. You said you carried urns. There's only a dog one over there. Ma'am, I'm sorry, but we just don't carry urns. And even if we did, they'd be extremely expensive. I can always recommend a nearby, you call yourself a Christian store and don't carry children's urns? Wow, no wonder all of your company's storefronts are closing. Like I said, I am sorry there isn't anything I can do, and we aren't affiliated with any companies, we're a locally owned store. Well, can't you call Hobby Lobby? Pardon? You heard me, call Hobby Lobby. They're a local Christian business, see if they have any urns. Tell me what they have and then order me one. Mom, let it go. They don't have any and I don't want... Hush, sweetheart. Let Mom do the talking. Now hurry up. I want one ordered and delivered to my house by Sunday. The woman snapped her fingers in my face as she said that. Ma'am, I can't do that. Orders take 2 to 3 weeks to account for receiving and ordering, and Hobby Lobby isn't affiliated with our store. Bullshit. You're going to order me a child urn and it's going to get here by Sunday. Now get to it. Ma'am, I'm gonna ask that you not raise your voice in the store. At this point, I've had just about enough of this woman's shit, but of course, because she's an entitled mother, she has to keep pushing her limits. Mom, just let it go. She says they don't carry urns. Let's just go to the funeral home like me and husband wanted to in the first place. Shut up. She then turned back to me. You will order that urn, and it will be here by Sunday, or I will be personally speaking to the bishop to ensure that none of the diocese shops here ever again. Well, ma'am, that would be a damn shame, because we donated $2,000 in goods to the Catholic fundraiser for the school last semester, and we provide rosaries to the high school graduates free of charge every year, and have done so since the store opened 50 years ago. I'm sorry we don't carry urns, and I can understand you're hurting, but I'm not your personal servant, and I can't do what's out of my control. You little bitch! And our dear entitled mother decides she's going to try to launch over our counter at me, but is stopped by her daughter. Mom, Please just go out to the car. But NL, you're just making a fool out of yourself and me. Me and husband don't even want to cremate our baby. We want to bury her in our plot in the cemetery, but you keep forcing it down my throat that we have to cremate her. I've been telling you that all day. Just go to the car. I've never seen a lady turn that beet red as quickly as entitled mom did, and she darted out of the store. NL broke down as soon as she was out of there and told me everything about her baby being stillborn and how her mother has been hijacking the whole situation to make it about herself. I told her I'm sorry and that I wish I could help and that I understand having an overbearing and manipulative parent. All that I could do was offer to pray with her for a minute and point her in the direction of some promise books and devotionals that are grief related. She picks out Max Lucado and Jesus Today and give her a discount. No matter how much you hurt, you should never take it out on the people around you, especially those who are more than ready to help. I hope NL and her husband can find some peace after their loss, and I hope they'll be blessed with an abundance of happy, healthy children. I can't say I have any personal experience with losing a child, but my heart goes out to all the parents out there that have. I have 4 kids of my own, and I just couldn't imagine what it would be like to lose one of them. On to our next story, the not-so-great mobility cart escape. Let's jump right in. A recent post about grocery store mobility carts reminded me of an incident I watched go down a bit over 2 years back when I needed one. Mr. Sunny tried to teach me to ski, and long story short, I skied right into a tree and hurt myself. I was on crutches for a while, and I'm an absolute menace to myself and others while on them. I am that hobbling, flailing mess that looks about to fall over at any moment. So the only way grocery shopping was going to happen while Mr. Sunny was out of town was with one of those mobility carts. My local grocery store had a few of them, and they'd had problems with them being stolen. The policy was, you had to go to the service desk and swap your driver's license for the keys. So I hobbled down to the service desk to get myself a cart. The woman in front of me was also getting one, and unfortunately for me, it was the last one. She didn't look like she particularly needed one. She was fit, with classic Karen haircut in her late 20s, early 30s, with a rambunctious kid who looked like capital T trouble. But you never know what's going on under the hood. She could have been undergoing chemo, having a difficult pregnancy, or who knows what. Once she took off with the keys, I let the manager at customer service know I'd be waiting and plonked down on the bench by the entrance to wait and play dumb games on my phone. Well, Karen turned out not to be the one on the cart when it rolled past. The kid was driving the cart. Driving might be a bit generous a term for what he was doing. He was careening around as much as you could on a grocery store mobility cart, driving in circles, hitting displays, nothing terribly breakable. Thankfully, that week's big sale items were paper goods, and generally scaring people who had to get out of his way or be hit. Complaints came rolling in pretty much instantly. The manager called for a stalker to clean up the displays and headed over to reclaim the cart from Evil Kid. Upon approaching the kid and demanding he stop and turn over the keys, Karen flew into quite the instant rage. How dare the manager speak to her kid like that? She had no right. He earned the special privilege of getting to ride the cart by mumble. I don't actually remember what minor things she said the kid had done. I just remember thinking it was one of those basic minimums for being a human allowed in public. Meanwhile, as Karen ripped the manager a new one, Evil Kid took off towards the exit in the mobility cart. Now this was expressly against the rules they explained in detail every single time you got a cart. They did not leave the store, period. Once you checked out, a bagger would take the keys and help you to your vehicle with your stuff. I giggled, thinking I was going to get a full yakety sax worthy slow motion chase scene when they got around to trying to get the cart back from the Evil Kid. That's not what happened. Evil Kid was not any better a driver in the parking lot than he was in the store. He gunned that thing at the full, barely walking speed it could go, straight out the door and right into the side of a tiny hybrid electric vehicle. Then he started crying, largely because he couldn't figure out how to get the thing in reverse. He wasn't the sharpest crayon in the box. In actual problem news, those tiny little cars are rather squishable even by a mobility cart. The door was dented inward significantly. Karen only thought she was having a bad day when told her evil kid couldn't drive the cart. Now she had real problems. Evil kid abandoned the cart and immediately fell, skinning his knee on the ground. He went running, crying back into the store to mommy, claiming the cart just took off and showing off his skinned knee trauma. Karen threw an epic fit that her kid was injured in an accident that was the store's fault. She yelled at the store manager that obviously the cart malfunctioned and could have killed her kid. Insert more screaming at the woman whose car was damaged because it shouldn't have been parked so close to the door. Complete bullshit. The car was in a legal marked space. Even tried to claim the store never should have let her have the cart in the first place, and it was their negligence that caused all this. She wanted restitution for his pain and trauma. Karen refused to give any personal info to the person whose car was damaged, so the police were called. Once she realized what was happening, she stopped her fit tossing, grabbed her still crying kid, and bolted out of there. Unfortunately for her, the woman whose car evil kid hit and the manager followed and got video of her fleeing. Running away is pretty foolish in the era of smartphones. Everybody has a camera. They got her plate number. The store also still had her driver's license at the service desk. Whoopsie, Karen didn't think that one through at all. I stuck around as a witness to chat with the cops and continue to rubberneck the situation. When they finally arrived, it went about how you'd expect. Security camera footage was pulled from in-store and the lot. Everybody gave statements. The cop wasn't totally sure what charges applied since the kid got into the accident, not the Karen, but he ran the plates and called it in. There was a lot of laughter going on during that call. Somebody was sent to Karen's house. I don't know what happened after that, but everybody seemed confident Karen was going to have to pay for the damages and the cops were going to figure out what charges applied for her refusal to swap info, running away from the scene of an accident her kid caused, and not having her license on her while driving. By the time it was over, a different mobility cart that had not just been crashed into a tiny car was returned, so I got to do my shopping. It's so funny that I can very clearly picture one of those mobility carts. My first job at 16 years old was in a grocery store, and one of the things I had to do was return those mobility carts back to the front door and plug them back in so they were charged up for the next customer who needed it. Yeah, they do not go very fast, so I can very much so see that low-speed chase going through the grocery store. I want to thank both of the OPs in this video for giving permission for me to narrate their stories, and I ask you to visit them at the links in the description below where you can give them an upvote on Reddit itself. Once again, this is Rob from Karma Comic Chameleon. If you enjoyed the video, I ask you to consider subscribing, dropping a like, and sharing it with your friends, and we'll see you in the next one.